Yes, this is Kojo from the Free Mayfield Podcast. Welcome to the show, the Kojo Show on Usman Talks United. This, by the way, is a Real Madrid special because Real Madrid won the Clasico. Real Madrid are past by Osasuna. Sorry for the Barcelona fans, but right now, currently, Falcao's doing you dirty. Depay does not score penalties. It is what it is. But welcome to the Kojo Show with two special guests. Indeed, welcome to the show. And we're going to get straight to the introductions right here because this is a HALA Madrid sort of thing, you know what I'm saying? Next to me is a wonderful Real Madrid fan. First time ever on my show. Actually, first time ever doing this show together. Actually, I've been looking for a Real Madrid fan for a long time. And he said, Kojo, when you want to talk Real Madrid, let me know. I'll come to your channel. I was like, you know what? It's perfect. So here he is. Now, he's called a young leg on Twitter. Is that what we're calling you or what's your name? What are we doing?
Yeah, you know what? You can just stick with Young Leg. It's better than Anthony because I'm a fake Italian. I'm not even Italian. My name's just Anthony, so we'll stick with Young Leg.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. And I think we're going to start with your thoughts on the Clasico. Obviously, weekend's gone past now. We've had a game. We're midweekend Wednesday. You've got a game tonight against Osasuna. I'm sure you'll be hoping to carry on the form. But yes, the Clasico. Was that... To me, it seemed like a walk in the park. I don't want to sound disrespectful to Barcelona, but it seemed like a quite simple game for you guys. What was your thoughts on the game that you played?
So it is pretty much like having two home fields at this point since they haven't beaten us at the Camp Nou in their last 8 tries. It's a little bit embarrassing. Right when Zidane came back, though, I knew that they weren't going to get us at Camp Nou for the last few years. Ancelotti was looking for his first win against Barcelona, so I know he was up for it. He went with the classic Madrid midfield with Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric. So you kind of knew it was in the air. Barcelona trending downward, we're trending up. I do have my alerts on their game right now because they are down to Rayo Vallecano. Shout out Falcao, my guy. So I felt very comfortable the whole time. I really appreciate. So gambling is legal out here in the States. So shout out Vegas for those shit odds. Plus 165 for Madrid was just free money at that point. The only thing this game was missing was a Benzema goal. Otherwise, it was just all scripted. We all knew it was going to happen.
And talking about your goal scorer, so I'll talk about Asensio actually as well. He wasn't a goal scorer, but he's been someone that's sort of been criticised for a while now. His availability being the main issue, injuries. Unfortunately, he's suffered some major injuries in his time. Just how important is he to you guys? And also David Alaba as well, actually, because he scored in the Clasico. How do you feel he settled into your team also? Those two players in question.
So Alaba has settled in fucking great. He looks fantastic. He's just been rock solid back there for us. I really appreciate having a center back that can actually play out of the back. He's always looking to send Vinny in, and Vinny is just, the L1 triangle for all my PlayStation people. You just hold that down, and Vinny's going to get to it. David Alaba has that down to a science. On top of we have Toni Kroos who can do it. It's just nice to have two people that no matter where they are in the field, they're going to find their man. And Asensio, I love Asensio. I think that if he's willing to accept a certain role, he's huge off the bench. He can play in the midfield. He can play down the wing. I would even give him a run at striker at the moment just because we have Benzema, and I'm not going to mention the other two names because they make me sad. So I love Asensio. I don't know if he's going to be willing because he is getting into that enter your prime type of age where you kind of got to figure out what you're going to do in your career. But I think if he's willing to accept a little bit of an Isco role where you're kind of a rotation guy into the starting 11, you're one of the first ones off the bench, and you make an impact every time you come on the pitch. I think that's what Asensio does. He adds that little spark because he has that long-range shot. He has that bit of pace. He's got that left foot. He can play on either wing. So I do really love having him in. But it's pretty much at this point, if he's willing to accept the role or show us why he should start, that's what's going to keep him at Madrid.
And I want to talk about your midfield three because obviously since I think Zidane was the one that broke through Casemiro, wasn't he? So since you had it's sort of like integrated into the team properly anyway.
Yeah.
So your Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos midfield three were the midfield three for the Clasico. Experience, quality. But Camavinga, who's also started very well at Real Madrid so far, has been in and out of the team so far. I mean, naturally, obviously he's a young boy. You want to take your time with him. I want to ask a question. Which one is he destined to replace in that midfield? Because I know Kroos and Modric are the older two out of the three, but there's still quality. Who do you think is the one that he's directly in for?
So I think Camavinga, I know that there's rumors of us looking at another CDM over at Monaco, and I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I will butcher it. It starts with a T. Yeah. He's solid, but I love Camavinga to take over that defensive role for Casemiro because I think that he already plays the ball. Like, he releases it so much better. And if you didn't notice from the Clasico, they were like making sure Casemiro was not the one starting the transitions because I love Casemiro. He's probably one of the best center defensive mids in the world right now. But when it comes to playing the ball out, I don't trust him. He tries to do that Brazilian flair on top of he's already not that great at passing. I think Camavinga, he's much better on the ball. I think he's got that little chip on his shoulder as well, the same way that Casemiro does, where he doesn't mind getting stuck the fuck in. And he doesn't mind, maybe getting a card here and there. He's got that attitude. He's carrying himself well, and he's so young. So it's just nice to see that already. I thought you were going to bring up Fetty because I'm a huge Fetty fan. I'm 100% in on that $1 billion buyout. Nobody's ever taken him away. Love that, man. So for me, hold on. This one's going to offend you're all Man U, right? So we're going to get Pogba for free. I'm scripting this whole thing. We're going to get Pogba for free. That takes Toni Kroos's spot. Fetty is going to take over Modric's spot. Camavinga takes Casemiro's spot, and we continue to dominate Europe.
That's tasty. That's a tasty midfield. I must be honest. Well, you've mentioned Pogba coming into there, and obviously another player that's been linked with you is Kylian Mbappe. Now, you've seen how the Premier League has splashed a lot of money on players. Every team at this point. I mean, there's so much money flowing around here. But as we were growing up over here, we saw even if a player was established here and they became maybe the best player in the world, like Ronaldo, for example, they eventually made that move to Spain. You're talking Henry went to Barcelona to get Champions League. Michael Owen, David Beckham, even Woodgate when he started to show a little bit of form, and then eventually went to England. To Spain, and now potentially Paul Pogba. The question here from James is Spain top league? Do the top players still want to go there? What is your thoughts on that? Do you think you guys still kind of track the top players in your league, or is it just like because I don't think Barcelona can. Are you holding the candle by yourself?
So I think Atleti kind of is starting to pass Barcelona a little bit when you see how Barcelona's been run and how like the Messi contracts ran their club into the ground. You see how Koeman runs the club and he's not really doing a great job of developing anyone or integrating in new signings. He's kind of just throwing in hoping that something works. And to me, right now, it is just when Madrid's on the phone, you answer the call. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you're Spanish, if you're French, English, doesn't matter what league you're from. When Madrid makes that call, you answer. That's how we got the Camavinga deal done so quickly. And for what, about 40 million, 35. So I do think that Madrid still has that pull. I think saying Spain as a league when it's probably like 80% Madrid, Sevilla has its, maybe Sevilla, maybe Atleti, maybe even Real Sociedad. They are at the top of the table right now. So for me, I'm really just saying it's mostly Madrid that brings the allure of Spain because Barcelona is just in shambles at the moment.
Well, I want to talk about Barcelona with you. Try to be as unbiased as possible, if possible. No, on the real though, they are in horrible shape from top to bottom. I mean, a lot of fans in England complain about the state of their clubs. Barcelona are in a horrible space right now. How do you look at your great rivals right now? What is the state that Real Madrid consider Barcelona to really be in right now?
So the nicest thing I can say about Barcelona is that like I have like the forefathers of football, which is like us, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and Barcelona, and Juventus. You know, sometimes Juventus and Manchester United they switch around. We'll see how it goes there. But so Barcelona is always going to have the history. They're always been a top club. They're one of the 3 clubs in Spain that has never been relegated. We've been running La Liga for almost a century, or well, yeah, over a century now. So, I mean, to be like as nice as I can to them, like they'll bounce back. It's Barcelona. Like to see their down year and the fact that Arsenal's been sitting in a down year like this for the past 3 years, there's just levels to it. It's Barcelona Football Club. They'll make the money back in probably like 2-3 years. They have all the talent coming through their academy. It's not like their academy stopped. They still have the likes of Pedri. They have Gavi, Ansu Fati. And then they still do have names. Frankie de Jong, like they brought in Memphis Depay for free, Ousmane Dembele, Coutinho. So, I mean, they still have all the names. They still have the history. It's still Barcelona Football Club. That's the only nice thing I can say about them. But other than that, I've been waiting a decade for this downfall to happen. So I'm just kind of basking in it right now. I remember for the past like 6 years, I was like, yo, there's no way you can keep paying Messi this much. Once I stopped winning everything, it was kind of like, how are you affording this? And then you hear about a bank loan, and then another bank loan, and then a third bank loan, and then they get Griezmann off of a bank loan. It's like, yo, where is this money coming from? How is this happening? And then the ex-president still getting investigated. It's just a bad look right now. But as far as being down bad, if we're comparing it to other clubs, it's kind of like when Juventus got sent down, immediately won, and then goes on a decade of just revenge tour. It's not like Arsenal where they're going to keep putting in. Arsenal spent the most money over the transfer window, and they still suck. So I think there's just levels to it. Barcelona are a huge club. They're massive. Just as a sports brand, they're one of the top 5 sports brands in the world right now. So it's just hard to see them staying down this much as I would love to just see them just continue to drop. If they went down, they should make a new league, like a La Liga 3 or something, or a La Liga a D league, and just keep going down there. That's fine.
That's absolutely beautiful for you. Another question from James. Also, I want to big up Eddie in the comments for giving us a like as well. So cheers, and everyone else that's watching right now. Another question from James. It's a really good question actually. I never actually asked a Real Madrid fan. Varane. Now, watching Real Madrid, I didn't get a chance to watch every Real Madrid game, of course, but the games that I watched in the last, I say 2 years. I won't go too far. Last 2 years, his form wasn't terrible, but it sort of dipped. When he left, was there a bit of upset for you? Were you upset that he was, or did you think it was time for him to go?
Now I gotta watch what I say here because I have some old tweets about him. So I was definitely mad about Varane. I won't lie. He tried to say like, "Oh, I want a new challenge," like it's not about the money. And then he went and got an absolute bag from Manchester United. You guys got a great deal on it, $50 million for World Cup Champions League winner. That was a great deal for you guys. I'm not mad at United at all. It's more on hearing Varane go, "Oh, I want a new challenge," and it's not about the money. And then he gets like 150K a week raise. So it was that made me a little upset. On top of like, we never saw you without Ramos, man. You had one of the greatest defenders ever to play the game as your Batman. Like he was Robin, and he did a great job of it. He was the captain over at France, so we kind of saw what he could do without Ramos. But again, that French team was loaded. That midfield was loaded with Conte and Pogba going box to box and doing everything. So I was a little upset with Varane. That being said, I am glad that you noticed that his form dropped because I remember having to argue through the three-peat about how we had the best center back duo in the world, and it's not even close. So to me, Varane, his peak was the 16-17 season for the third, and then you could see like after the World Cup as well, you could see like it really did get to him. It got to him physically, it got to him mentally. Like he had to have been worn out. He played every single minute of almost every single game that year. So I don't think he's been the same since then. That being said, he's still a fantastic center back. I would still put him in the top 5 center backs in the world right now. And I want to see him do well at United, but I am a little salty. This is kind of nice to see, especially because Harry Maguire looks like absolute shite as well. And it's just like, wow, dude, you went from Ramos to that. You wanted a challenge. There you go, man.
I'm not even going to start on Maguire today. I can't do it right now.
I actually do have questions for English people if Hassan ever comes in here. I have a couple questions about a few of your players that I feel get the English tax and don't really get the...
We can talk about that soon. No worry, we can talk about it. Okay, the last one I want to ask you about then is another question. This is from Big Ron. Post Ramos, do you feel his lack of a presence now that he's obviously not there, or do you feel like you guys are now moving into a new era, maybe with Militao and anyone else?
So yeah, we're in a new era now. I love Militao. He's just filled that role so well as you can when you have to fill in for Varane and Ramos, who together had 4 Champions Leagues, a couple Euros, World Cups. So those are some big boots to fill. I think he's doing a great job of it. On top of having David Alaba and the class that he is, it makes it a lot easier when you're playing next to a world class center back. Shout out Bayern for that freebie. Really appreciated that one. But Ramos is my favorite player. He's still in my background on my phone. I won't take that off. I honestly have a giant conspiracy theory that he's going there for 2 years just to secure a bag. He's never going to play a match. He just wanted to get paid, and he's going to come back. So he promised us he was going to be there for the opening of the Bernabeu. He promised us he was going to be the captain. The new Bernabeu is open, but it's not completely finished. It's not completely done. So I'm kind of just in my head, he's still going to be there for the real opening. And he's just robbing PSG blind for 14 mil a season. So that's where I'm at with it. Otherwise, it's just sad, and I miss him.
I hear that. And finally, I want to ask you this question as well before we go into Osasuna, the lineup with your hope of scoreline would be. So we mentioned Barcelona and the state they're in, but obviously the current champions are Atletico Madrid. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think they are the kind of club that can win a back-to-back title.
Shouldn't have won it last year.
Pardon?
So there was a lot of suspect calls because us in La Liga were in a legal battle last year. I'm not going to act like that's the reason they won. Great job, guys. There was a lot of suspect VAR calls in the last 10 minutes of your matches. There was we only had 3 penalties the entire season last year. We had 4 called on us in one single game. So I'm not going to say that there were some fixes. This is all allegedly, but I have an asterisk next to that trophy that they got. Somehow Suarez is always constantly scoring in the 90th minute for winners too. A little weird how the man that was always offsides or hacking the last defender is still doing the exact same thing. So, just little things, little unbiased though,
Well, I was going to say, obviously, those two will be your main threats. Sevilla and other clubs tend to have every now and then, another club has a little spell when they look like they're getting there, but they'll never get there. But let's just say you guys do win the title this year. Considering how Barcelona are, do you think you could have a period of dominance of winning titles, sort of similar to what they did, or should I say, dare I say, actually, similar to what Celtic did when Rangers had their downfall?
So you're just talking to the worst Madrid fan for this, because I said after we won 2 seasons ago, I said we're going for 10 straight. I was like, we're gonna get Mbappe, we're gonna get Pogba for free, we're going for 10 straight. We're gonna do the Bayern Juventus move of just domination. Barcelona's gonna be in the mud. I was literally just in my head. I was like, this is already done. That's why I was so. I think Atleti were 13 points clear at one point. I was like, they're gonna choke. I'm not worried about them at all. In January, I remember saying, I have all my money on Madrid to win the league still. It's plus 400. I'm taking that still. These guys are going to choke. They will choke. That's what they've done. I've watched them do it the past 20 years. Atleti come in looking hot. They get some results against us. They get some results against Barcelona, and they still end up choking. That's why I think it was all just a setup last season. But I do think that there's going to be a huge depending how Barcelona recover from this, maybe Ansu Fati doesn't get hurt and he's just you know what, I'm good for 30 a season. Maybe Gavi and Pedri are the future, and it's not just all Barcelona mumbo jumbo to get them through this bad time. So I do think that we're going to make a little bit of a run here. And if you told me we're going to win 6 or 7 out of the next 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would still probably up it even more. I would go for 8 out of the next 10.
Nice. Right. Okay. So you guys do play in just over half an hour, or just under 40 minutes, I should say. And you do play Osasuna, so I do want to share the lineup with the people. For anyone that is interested in Osasuna, Sergio Herrera in goal. The back 5, so Manuel Sanchez, Juan Cruz, Unai Garcia, David Garcia, and Sancho Vidal in defense. John Moncayola, Lucas Toro, and Javi Martinez, and then up top, Ezekiel Avila, sorry, there's not 2 L's, Avila and Kike. Now,
what's funny is I do the exact opposite when I talk about Aston Villa. I say it, make sure I say it like I would say Villarreal. So I'll say it wrong on purpose just to piss people off.
Oh, Aston Villa. I like that.
Yeah, I say Aston Villa just to make people mad because they do the opposite for Villarreal.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, they do actually. Yeah, you always say Villarreal. It's weird. All right, let's go to your club, of course, Real Madrid. So Thibaut Courtois in goal. This is according to live score, by the way. We don't know what it is completely. Daniel Carvajal at right back, Ferland Mendy at left back, Alaba and Eder Militao centre back. Midfield three of Eduardo Camavinga, Casemiro, Anthony Kroos, Marco Asensio looking to be on the right, Vinicius Junior, who's now made the left side his left. Sorry, Eden Hazard, and up top, I'm gonna say it right now. This isn't, and anyone that watches Usman Talks United, you know for a fact I'm not saying this just because young leg is here. Karim Benzema is my Ballon d'Or shout.
Yep. Listen, if anyone besides Lewandowski beats him out, the award is done. The award is dead.
Absolutely.
If Messi wins this, it's dead.
Absolutely, completely agree. But your lineup, are you happy with that lineup? Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I like the lineup. I would have preferred that Courtois got a little bit of rest. I don't know if you saw our match in El Clasico. He seemed to mess his knee up without any contact off of a long ball he played out. And on top of that, Lunin needs some time. He's the Ukrainian goalkeeper. He's fantastic. I watched him in friendlies. I watched him in a couple random matches when he was out on loan at different places. He's fantastic. I would love to see him play with his feet a little bit more. And I think this would have been the perfect game for him to kind of get his feet wet a little bit. Courtois, give him a damn break. Casemiro is one of those players that he needs reps. So he needs to keep going. We can take him out 60th, 70th minute, but he needs to start and make sure he keeps going. It's kind of like a rest versus rust type of deal when you're resting players. Luka Modric, he's going to need that rest. Man, it's 37. He needs a nap. I love Luka. He's fantastic. I'll give him another contract whenever he wants it, but he needs the rest. Love seeing Camavinga in there. Of course, I love seeing Vinny in there. Great to have Mendy back. Great to have Carvajal back. And Militao, just keep doing your thing. I'm hoping he's just a silent assassin the way that Rafael Varane was when he started out with us. So I love this lineup. Give Asensio his shout. I just want to make sure that Asensio keeps his confidence up, because if he plays like he's sad or if he's mad at the coach, he's going to look like shit. I like the cocky Asensio that'll push it back on his left foot and whip in a 25-yard shot and make the goalie nervous and maybe even just ruin Ter Stegen the way he usually does whenever we play Barca with Asensio. So I love this lineup. Benzema, Ballon d'Or also.
No, absolutely. I think you answered this question earlier, but you said obviously midfield three, hopefully in the future will be Camavinga, Pogba, and Fede. Who would be the defensive midfielder? Who would be the two, just for clarification?
Camavinga is going to take over the defensive roles, but Pogba can play. He can play the 10, he can play the 8, he can play the 6 if he wanted to. So that's just a nice little versatile midfielder to have, as well as the French connection. And he's gotten experience in big games, and he just flat out wants to play here. He said Madrid is on his list. It's one of those clubs that when you get the call, it's hard to say no to. He talks about it a lot. Casemiro and Fred, I'm so sick that somebody just said that. Ugh. I'm so convinced that Fred isn't Brazilian. Talk about one of the least Brazilian names and just players I've ever seen on the pitch. You got Fabinho, you got Fernandinho, and Casemiro, who are yeah, you can tell those are some Brazilian CDMs. And then this guy named Fred that's about half their size, can't defend like them, and you have no idea what he's going to do. Granted, he tries his best. He's got nobody next to him. It's either him, McSauce, or old-ass Matic. So I do feel for him, because I think if you put somebody like N'Golo Kante next to him that you know is going to cover a bunch of ground, it opens him up to do a little bit more. Also, if we're going to bring up Manchester United midfields and issues, I won't bring up Donny van de Beek, but I mean, let the kid loose. Jesus.
Well, let's quickly just cover United. You say you want to ask about I'll take the questions for this one. I feel like I just need to just get it off my chest maybe as well. You said you're talking about the English tax, or what question do you want to ask about Man United players?
So I have a list of players that it's not that I think they're bad. It's just that the way the English media hypes them up, it's almost as if you guys get Messi every single year, or you have Pele on your team. And no offense, but England still can't win a goddamn trophy, so it's a little hard to hear that sale every year.
None taken whatsoever. But go on.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 players on here. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that I hate them, even though I do hate a couple of them. But I just want to know if it's just all English people that think this. So the first name is Jordan Henderson. Now you're a United fan, so I know you probably don't really like him at all, but I have never seen a midfielder that does borderline nothing get so much hype and so much credit for doing almost nothing. Man barely even plays anymore, but he's got the armband, so he gets all the credit. Is that England? Like, am I wrong here?
No, I think. I mean, I want to be very honest. A lot of English fans don't actually like him either or rate him too highly. But what I will say for him, which hurts me to say, he has improved. He has improved a bit. His reading of the game and passing of the games has improved. But I am with you because what it was about him was he is the epitome of the all action, sort of passionate, aggressive midfielder that English people love. So when they love those type of typical midfielders, or a lot of those midfielders in the past have not had the technique, or even if they've had technique, they've not been praised for their technique. He has improved his game as he's got older. You can see he's getting better, but he's still not, for me personally, he's still not upper echelon. So I could put that down as English. If you're hearing a lot more praise for him, that is English tax.
Well, granted, that's just a lot of Liverpool fans. That's just how they roll. So,
all right.
But for me, it's Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson. Just saying. Oh, okay. I love Calvin Phillips. Huge fan. The other one is Mason Mount, who I genuinely believe that he is bang average. And I know someone's gonna be like, he just scored a hat trick. He had 3 goals and an assist. That's all his stats, and it was against the worst team in the league with the worst defense. So before that, he went 26 matches without scoring a goal, and all of a sudden, the Mason Mount hive got really quiet because before he was generational. Messi says he's generational because, Messi's watching just a ton of English football, and he knows all their youngsters. The only youngster that I'll call generational in England is Phil Foden, and he's a G. No offense to Mason Greenwood, just do it a little bit more consistently. I love you, but do it a little bit more consistently. Mason Mount, though, and the people that try to gas up his stats, you got to remember he's taking penalties, he's taking corners, he's taking set pieces, and he still only has 1 assist on the year after 7 matches. So anytime I bring up his stats for goals, and they're like, oh, well, he creates chances, and like you got to see it in defensively. And then when he doesn't do that, and I call him out, they're like, oh, well, I mean, he's scoring goals. Like the argument always flips for him somehow. Yeah. And I just think he's, well, I'll be nice and I'll call him average. I actually think he sucks, but that's only because everyone makes me hate him. It's only because everyone's making me hate him. He's definitely a very average, decent player, but I take Rice over Casemiro. Hell no, James. What are you thinking? Come on, man. I'll take Calvin Phillips over Declan Rice. But Mason Mount for me, like he can hit a dead ball though. I will say he's very good at hitting a dead ball. That's the only nice thing I have.
He's a tidy player. He's not someone that sets the world on fire. I will say this for free. I completely agree with you when you say Phil Foden is incredible.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Did you hear stories about when he was a kid and like how he wasn't allowed to play with his school team or the grade school games because he was just trashing everyone? They were like, "Nah, you can't play anymore."
A bit of a cheap plug, but on free midfield we had Steve Eyre, who's a former Man City coach. He didn't work with Foden directly, but was able to see Foden through his younger years coming up through the ranks. And he said, even as a kid at maybe 8-9 years old, the guy was what you're seeing right now. So it was so obvious that he was going to make it. And City are just very lucky that financially they're now so strong and are competing, because if they were in the same place they were, let's say 2006 onwards, or backwards rather, there's no way Phil Foden would play for Man City right now. He would have been taken by another club a long time ago. The guy is, I don't know how you feel about this. I rate him as the best youngster in the world, to the point where I think he's going to grab a Ballon d'Or. And
is he above Mbappe for you? Because I don't have him above Mbappe.
Yeah, I think in terms of overall ability, I rate him above Mbappe. Yeah.
I think that in a big game situation, though, I'm taking Mbappe. Like if I'm going to a Champions League final, I'm taking Mbappe over Foden, though.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I get what you mean, though. Technical ability, just IQ, and just the flair alone is just enough to be like, okay, yeah, I can spend $100 million on this guy.
Absolutely. Who's your third player?
All right, third player. Trent Alexander-Arnold. So hear me out. I'm not trying to chat that much shit on him. It's just the fact that he went from academy player to best right back in the world immediately, immediately. And my man Carvajal was grinding it out. My man won 3 straight Champions Leagues and never got a best right back in the world nod. Also, Joshua Kimmich is still playing. If he wanted to go back to right back, he's going to be the best right back on the planet. So I will say, going forward, Trent Alexander-Arnold is fantastic. He hits crosses well. He sees the field well. I think he'd be a great midfielder. I think he could play. You remember how Pirlo used to play midfield? I think he'd be fantastic at that, except for you love seeing him go down the wing. He reminds me a lot of Marcelo going forward, which is a very high compliment if you're a Madrista. But defensively, he is woeful. My man, 1v1, like if we're playing Real Madrid versus Liverpool, Vinicius is absolutely ruining that man's career. There's no way he's guarding him. He's not going to keep up with him speed-wise, dribbling-wise. Just he's going to be all the way up the field anyway, next to Salah anyway. So it's not that I don't rate him. I think he's a good player. I just think he's terrible defensively, which is like, you're a defender. That should probably be a main job. And it was when people started saying he's the best in the world, which is what really got to me. Anytime they get to me and I'm just like, oh, well, he fucking sucks. I'll just change it completely. It's like, no, I'm not even going to be nice about it. You're trash.
Well, the thing is, I'll say this. I can't add anything extra onto the defensive and offensive side because you're right. I agree with that. Me personally, I agree with that. Defensively, he has made slight improvements, but it's not enough to call him the top back. But what happens in this country, as you well know, through social media alone, let alone conversations with other people, is when someone has a stellar year, it's suddenly are they here already? Are they world class already? He going forward is brilliant, but for me, Kimmich he's sensational, man. That guy's actually incredible.
Levels.
As a right back, he's perfect.
Levels.
The thing is, he's not, in this day and age of football, everyone's like they need their fullbacks to be fast so they can do recovery pace. Not only does he read the game well as a defender, so you won't get past him anyway, but he also contributes majorly going forward for both Germany and Bayern Munich. And if anyone is listening right now has any doubts, just check the catalog of goals he scores in games and see how good he is going forward. And his assists. It's all numbers now, isn't it? Trent gets incredible numbers for someone in this position, which is fair enough. I think part of that is due to how Liverpool play because he doesn't record the same number of assists. He wouldn't in a season for England, but his numbers of assists for England are nowhere near what you would think for someone of his ability if they were playing.
Well, I would never play him over Kyle Walker if I'm the English coach anyway. So,
no, to be fair, my favorite right back for England right now is Reece James. I like Reece James.
I like him too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So next one we got for 4 more.
1, 2. Yep. My next one's Pickford. The only thing I like about him is the fact that he'll just go fucking hit someone, and he's a short king. So as a fellow short king, I appreciate that. But England, holy shit. How you can't get any better goalkeepers? I like Dean Henderson better. I like Foster better than him. I couldn't believe that Pickford was still playing when you can get chipped that easily. As soon as that went into penalties in the Euro, I'm sorry to bring this up. As soon as that went into penalties, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. There is no way that he's going to get more penalty saves than Donnarumma. Donnarumma just could have laid down in the net, and I think he would have done better. He's huge. I thought they were going to make a sub or something for the penalties just because I do not think Pickford could handle that at all. Pickford, I love when he comes out and he's punching like air balls and everything, but other than that, he's and the hair, man. Dude, you aren't David De Gea, man. What are you doing with the hair? Come on.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. There's nothing I have to actually add on to that. I do not rate him. I have never rated him. I've never thought he was good. Well, okay, yes, he did save Jorginho's pen, but you know what? The first time I really, because I mean, if I don't rate you, I just won't talk about it too much. But the first time I really had an issue with him was that BS mistake he made against Liverpool at Anfield when the ball was clearly going over his bar, and he decided to interfere with that and put it on the plate for Origi to head in from 1 yard. After that, I said, you know what? You're done. It's over. He's not good. So yeah, I have nothing to add to that. But yeah, he's not good.
Big Ron, I will say he is solid for He's solid for England if we're comparing it to Everton, but if we're comparing it to just other like great English goalkeepers,
No, I agree.
we've seen better.
Yeah, I agree. Fifth?
All right, the fifth one. Luke Shaw. So I thought he had a great year last year. He had a great season, he had a great Euro, great goal in the final.
Yeah.
I don't know, decade before that he was playing where he did nothing. Again, another one where it was just like, oh, well, now it was the best when you saw the graphic of AWB, Varane, Maguire, and Luke Shaw, and they were like, good luck getting past this. And now everyone's bringing that shit back after you let 10 goals up in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I love Luke Shaw just because after he got hurt also, it seemed like he was just like, well, fuck this. I'm taking out everyone. And he's just gritty with it. He goes in the tackles hard. I think he does well. He picks his runs very well when he goes forward. But besides that last season, I have no idea what has people going, oh, Luke Shaw is he's world class. He's one of the best in the world. And I like James. I like Luke Shaw. He's one of my guys just because I love watching small guys that like to take people out just because that's how I played left back. But it's really just the English fans getting behind it, saying they got the best left back in the world, and then you got all the United fans claiming, oh, now we got Champions League Varane, that we had the best back line in the league in Europe. So that was my biggest problem. Again, is just everyone else. Like he's there, he's having a good year, but then they just through the roof, just blow it way out of proportion.
When he first joined Man United and through his younger years at Southampton, he looked good. Then he got a major injury. He looked quite average. I don't know how badly the injury affected him. Last season, he was great. I completely agree. Last season, he was great. But look, and I don't know how other guys are going to feel about this with me. See, I've tried my best not to overly praise Luke Shaw because I still worry. And I know people are going to say that Mourinho as a manager is finished. That's fine. But I still worry about that time when Mourinho had to say that, or he didn't have to, but he came out and said that he was essentially Luke Shaw's brain and told him what to do at left back for him to have a good game. And Luke Shaw sort of had a back and forth with Mourinho during the Euros, which I didn't really understand on Luke Shaw's side because Mourinho, doing his job at TalkSport, said, for me, we didn't have a great time. Our relationship wasn't great, but after me, he's done very good. Obviously, whatever was said to him from there, obviously Luke Shaw took it the wrong way and made a complaint. But the thing is, I'm looking at his performances, and he's doing the same things he was doing before that Mourinho day. And I'm like, I'm not trying to discredit the form that you had, but have you just returned back to type? It's only 10 games this season. I understand there's no rush. He could we got Tottenham on Saturday, and he could become brilliant from then onwards, and it'll be a slap in my face, which is what I want anyway. But it's starting to affect me. I'm starting to look at him and being like, yeah, that Roberto Carlos thing, and then Roberto Carlos tweeting you or Instagram posting you or whatever has really got to your head. I don't really agree with it. But at the same time, I do agree with this comment here. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't rotate his squad enough. So you sign Telles, and Telles has played, if we're going to be completely honest, probably about 5 minutes in 2 years. If we're being completely honest. So, yeah. I still think he's quite an average player. I wouldn't put him next to the top left backs. I think Ferland Mendy's better than him. I think Robertson's better than him. There's a couple others as well. But
I'll throw Alphonso Davies' name in there.
I'm about to say Alphonso Davies as well. I even think Alexandro from Juventus is better than him as well. He's
had a little bit of a rough start, though, so far this season.
Oh, yeah. But, apparently, according to Juventus fans, that's Ronaldo's fault. So, hey, there you go. But, yeah, no, I like Shaw, but he is replaceable for me, quite comfortably replaceable.
I'll save my next one for last. I'll just go over to AWB, Wan-Bissaka.
Can I just stop you right there? Can I just stop you right there for 1 second?
Go ahead.
Someone said to me that the way he plays football is like a fish riding a bicycle. And from then on, I've looked at this guy and I've noticed that he just doesn't cut it for me.
I've never seen somebody so good at letting someone go past them so that they could slide tackle them, though. He's fantastic at it. He's so good at it. It's very impressive. I love how he plays one-on-one defense because you know he's going to get stuck in and probably take the person out because he's going to keep sliding. That being said, dude, just learn how to cross the ball. If you can just send the ball back, you have Ronaldo now. It makes it even easier. Dude's got like a 90-inch vertical. Just throw it in the box. You have Cavani and Ronaldo's giant heads to look for. So I don't know. That's just
Well, all right. So Usman's brother, Usman, who has a channel, this is his brother. He says I'm a Dalot fan. No, I am a Dalot fan, but I know Dalot sucks defensively. I'm very clear on that. So I'm not going to give him overall praise. But my issue with Wan-Bissaka is he's been called a great defender. He's a great one-on-one defender, but he is caught sleeping far too many times for me to call him a great defender. We criticize Trent Alexander-Arnold for the same things. So
at least he can play offense.
But he can at least contribute majorly going forward. So the reason I called for Dalot is because I wanted Wan-Bissaka to have a bit of a challenge. Someone to challenge his position, a bit of rotation, so he doesn't get comfortable. So he has to actually get better. But Dalot don't see minutes anyway, and Wan-Bissaka is not getting better for me. So honestly, I'm happy you said his name because, and it's also kind of scary. That's two of Man United's back four.
Well, I do like what is his name? Brandon Williams. I think he plays left back. He's one of your young guys.
He's at Norwich at the moment. I'm a bit.
Is he on loan or did you guys sell him? Because I actually liked him.
He's on loan, but I'm not a fan of him at the moment either.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, he's one of those guys where it's like, dude, try him out on the right flank. Like, I don't know why you have Wan-Bissaka who he's very consistent and he's going to give you kind of like the same thing every week in, week out, so you know what you're going to get. But like, don't you want to like experiment with something else? Maybe you'll get a little extra thing from somebody else. Like, I don't know. Just again, somebody said earlier, they asked like, oh, what do you think's wrong with Manchester United? Your manager sucks. The fact that you got Solskjaer, this man had no business ever managing Manchester United. This club is too big for him. This dude couldn't even start for the club. And I'm sorry, I know he's a legend. I know he helped win you that treble in '99. But I mean, there's just certain clubs. If you're not going to get one of the best managers in the world, at least get like a dope legend. Like, why didn't you go get Scholes or Giggs? Like, you got Solskjaer? Come on.
Like, Scholes was a manager for 2 weeks and then he ran away, so I don't want to see him ever. And Ryan, I don't even say his last name because I know Rodriguez, I know his brother. So I mean, past the whole scandal there, I can't say his name anymore because he obviously beats up women also. So at this point, he's just Ryan, and I don't care if people say he's a legend or whatever. It's me, just Ryan. His whole legend tag is just gone. But hey, other people are also biting their daughter's toenails.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, and I was like, there's been a couple of shots already thrown at Manchester United I wasn't even trying to do. Maybe I won't bring it up. But also, you guys realize Zidane's available. Manu, I don't even know why this is a hard decision to get rid of Solskjaer when you have the dude that won 3 straight Champions Leagues when he joined the team in January. So I don't know. I'm biased, but it seems like a pretty easy fix. Also, Antonio Conte is available. You know, like there's actual good managers available. No offense, Ole at the wheel and all, but it seems pretty common sense if you lose back-to-back games by 5 and the manager has been most of the issue. And you bring in Sancho for 100 million, Varane for 50 million. Like you got Ronaldo back on the team as well. It's kind of at the point now where it's like, oh, well, let's give him another transfer window. No, there's not much more we can do besides getting a CDM. Other than that, I still think I had a theory that you guys should have went and got Conte when Lampard just wasn't playing him because his illegitimate son Mason Mount was on the team. So that I fixed United like 4 years ago, but nobody wanted to listen to me. So
hey, well, again, you're preaching to the gospel right now because everything you're saying right now is just screaming back at me. But who's your last?
It's Slabhead. It's Maguire. I'll save them for last. My main problem is that somebody tried to tell me that he was with Ramos, and that's my favorite player. To me.
Hold on. Sorry. Can you say that again, Peter?
They put him up with Sergio Ramos. Yeah, back-to-back Euro, a World Cup champion, 3-peat, 4 in total Champions Leagues. He's been on the World 11, 15 times. So just, they were talking about pass accuracy and the amount of tackles he had. I was like, okay, Where's he in Champions League? Oh, you're in the Europa League final. Okay, just making sure I'm talking about the same guy here. The dude that won one trophy with Leicester and all of a sudden is worth 80 million because he's got a gigantic fucking head.
He didn't win anything with Leicester. He wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't even there?
So they won the Premier League, and then
fuck this dude. Excuse my language.
They had him, and then they sold him, and then they won to win the FA Cup. He hasn't won any accolades. He's got nothing. Fuck.
The audacity of these fucking people to compare him to Sergio Ramos. I was like, how much does one center back have to? This man has over 100 league goals as a center back. My man hit 100 goals faster than Eden Hazard did in the Premier League. And you're going to fucking compare Harry Maguire to Sergio Ramos?
No, wait. Hold on.
That was an exaggeration.
No, but has Hazard got 100 Premier League goals?
Premier League? Yeah, he got 100. It just took him like 10 years to do it.
Wait, hold on. No. I need to make sure. Because I'm sure did he reach 100 for Chelsea? Or was it in the Premier League only? Because I don't think Hazard did 100.
I thought he did 100 in the Premier League. If it was only 100 for Chelsea, that's even worse.
I need to make sure right now because my head is going to be spinning. And I
feel free to make sure because I read that and I was just like, dude, my center back has that many goals. Why are we paying 100 million for this guy? I also hated Hazard and I have hated him for a while now. So it was all just very frustrating to listen to. It was almost as bad as listening to Harry Maguire being compared to the greatest center back of all time, Sergio Ramos. The center back that I have next to Cannavaro and Maldini, and then all of a sudden you're going to throw Harry Maguire in the conversation. That's a joke. It's almost as bad as Liverpool fans claiming VVD was the best center back in the world after one season.
He's 20 short of 100 Premier League goals.
All right, so it's just the Chelsea goals because that's even more embarrassing then.
So you're telling me that Sergio Ramos?
That's even more embarrassing then. And I don't want to ever hear anyone's name put next to Sergio Ramos's again like that.
Hold on, I don't know who this is actually worse for, Maguire or Hazard. Who is this worse for? Because one should not be put next to one of the greatest defenders ever, and players ever actually, but then a forward who was mentioned in the same breath as Messi, Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo, you want to go lower, Neymar and Bale, and hasn't hit 100 Premier League goals. But just about got to 100 for Chelsea.
I feel like it's most embarrassing for Ramos that their names are even near his.
I think you are correct. I think you are.
Big round, yes, I'm taking Ramos over borderline everyone. Unless you're giving me prime Maldini, I'm pretty much taking Ramos over everybody.
Fernando Hierro was great, though, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he was. I'm not taking anything away from him. If we want to line up resumes for a second here, I'm looking at 2 Euros, a World Cup, 4 Champions Leagues, and like 4 La Liga titles, multiple Copa del Reys, 4 Super Cups, 4 Club World Cups, not to mention all the individual accolades, Defender of the Years. I think he was up for a Puskas also at one point. So
I think he was, yeah.
Was. He's just
big one.
Different eras, though. We don't compare eras.
Yeah, big one. I didn't call him the greatest of all time, but I said he's definitely one of, absolutely, one of the greatest ever. But yeah, Maldini is the benchmark. That's just gospel. But
yeah, it's like Cannavaro, Maldini, what's his face? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the German. All my German friends are gonna be pissed off at me.
Sorry, Beckenbauer.
Yes, Beckenbauer. For some reason, I wanted to say Bad Stuber, and I know it's not him. So. And then it's Ramos. It's all those guys, and I'm putting Ramos first because I'm biased and I love him. But that's the conversation. Those 4.
Fair enough. What about Nesta?
Listen, I love Nesta for the slide tackles. Also, he was a slide tackle mastermind. But I watched that team for Maldini, bro. That was the whole reason I wore number 3 my whole season, or my whole I guess I'll call it a career, even though I ended it when I was 21.
Fair enough. And is Rio Vidic in your list?
Vidic greater than Rio. I'm a huge fan of Vidic as well, just because his nickname was the Terminator. That is the dopest nickname on the planet. I was a little upset that he didn't like last a little bit longer. You know what I mean? I feel like he had like that 4-year span where him and Rio were just like, quite honestly, probably the best duo in the world at that point, or up there. So I was always a huge Vidic fan. Anyone that plays with blood streaming down their face and has to just wrap toilet paper on their head, they have my respect. So I'm not putting him in my top 4, but in my personal one, he's probably top 10, easy. I don't know about actual rankings for center backs, but in my personal one, I loved watching him play.
Fair enough.
James, you're pissing me off.
All right, well, trophies are not necessarily the best metric. Phil Neville won more than Sol Campbell and Lee King, but they were better defenders. Well, you know what? Phil Neville is an absolute legend, so I'm going to take that. But you know what? Young Leg, it's been an absolute pleasure. Roma just starts in, 5 minutes, actually, so we want to get going to that. But honestly,
I have it on another tab, don't worry.
Yeah, there you go. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. And you're always welcome back on this platform because you are actually one of my best guests ever. And
there we go.
So it's been a pleasure, man. But
I had to warn my mom, though. I was like, Mom, I'm talking to English people. They might hate me because I'm from Philadelphia. I was like, the accent crossover is going to be great, though. I didn't say John, but.
No, you didn't. But no, look, you actually, I should want to come to Philadelphia actually one day. That's a dream of mine. So.
I know a cheesesteak spot on 9th Street. All right, go to Angelo's. No free ads. The best cheesesteak in Philadelphia.
All right, cool. That's a plug for me right there. Thank you. Also, I always like everyone to plug themselves. So just tell the people where they can find you on the socials.
You can follow me at a young leg on Instagram, Twitter. You can check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/youngleg. Show's gonna be late for you guys, but 7:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. So tonight, in about 4 hours, we do a gambling show. We're gonna go over the slate for the weekend, talk about all our favorite matches, give our top picks, and then I like to spin a wheel just because everybody loves watching a wheel spin. So I'll do like a prop bet, and you have to I'll spin it and it lands on a random prop, or we'll do goal scores. Either way, we got the wheel. So the wheel is everything.
Excellent. All right, and we're getting love from the comments saying it's a great show, fun show, and one in particular saying, please don't be a stranger. You've got some cool takes, and I agree with that. So whether it's this show or my show, Free Midfield on YouTube, Free Midfield podcast on YouTube, Free Midfield everywhere else, at some point you'll be seeing a young leg again on our show. So yeah, it's been great. Everyone, thank you for watching, and it's been another episode of the Kojo Show. HALA Madrid.